Toronto is without question a world-class city. It's Canada's most impressive city and rivals Chicago as the planet's best lakeside metropolis. I've been putting off making a video on Toronto because I wanted to make sure I was doing this incredible city justice. In this series, I briefly cover a city's history, population, skyline, as well as a few things that make the city unique. Now let's meet Toronto. I always like to start by exploring how a city wound up being where it is today. Toronto is located on the northwest shore of Lake Ontario at the mouth of the Humber River. The area has been inhabited by First Nation peoples for thousands of years and was under the control of the Huron tribe when the first Europeans visited the area in 1615. The area was an important strategic location for controlling the fur trade, and the French set up several trading posts that were later abandoned as the British conquered French North America in 1763. Following the Toronto land purchase, the Lieutenant Governor of Upper Canada, John Graves Simcoe, chose the site of Toronto as the new capital of Upper Canada because of its harbor and strategic location. Initially, the new capital was called York. However, economic depression in Great Britain forced many people to move overseas to Canada, and by 1834 the population of York had grown to 9,000 and the name Toronto was restored. Around the same time, the completion of canals such as the Erie Canal helped Toronto become the main break and bulk center for trade in Canada, and significant growth soon followed. Today, Toronto has a city proper population of around 2.8 million, making it Canada's largest city. I think metro population is a better indicator of a city's size, and Toronto has a metro population of around 6.7 million people, which if comparing to US metros would be smaller than Houston but larger than Philadelphia. About half of Toronto's residents were born outside of Canada, which is a reason why Toronto has been recognized as the most multicultural city in the whole world. Toronto is home to 6 universities, the most notable being the University of Toronto, which is ranked as the best university in Canada and the third best public university in all of North America, falling between the University of Pennsylvania and the University of Michigan. Call me shallow, but when it comes to cities, I think appearances matter, which is why I always enjoy evaluating a city's skyline. Toronto has an incredible skyline. I made a video where I ranked the best skylines in North America, and Toronto came in as the third best looking skyline on the continent, only trailing New York and Chicago. Toronto already has a great skyline, but it's also the fastest growing skyline on the continent. Toronto is projected to overtake Chicago for total number of skyscrapers in the next 5 to 10 years. One of the skyscrapers currently under construction is called the Sky Tower, which will be Canada's tallest skyscraper at 306 meters in height. And with 105 stories, it will be the tallest residential building in the world by floor count. Currently, the tallest skyscraper in the city is First Canadian Place at 298 meters. It was the tallest building in the world outside of New York and Chicago at the time of its completion in 1975. Although it's not technically considered a skyscraper, the most iconic structure in Toronto is undoubtedly the CN Tower. The CN Tower is 553 meters or 1,815 feet tall and was the tallest structure in the world for 32 years until the completion of the Burj Khalifa in 2007. It's the primary symbol of the city and is considered one of the 7 modern wonders of the world by the American Society of Civil Engineers. Like most large TV towers, the CN Tower has an observation deck, but the CN Tower also has something entirely unique called the Edge Walk, which is the world's highest full-circle hands-free walk. The CN Tower was featured on the Views album cover by Drake, who is arguably the most famous person from Toronto. Another unique and iconic building in Toronto is the Casa Loma Castle. It's considered to be the best Gothic-style castle in North America. The castle is massive, at over 64,000 square feet in size, and it has 98 rooms. It also has an 800-foot-long underground tunnel that connects the castle to the stables. Toronto is home to the Hockey Hall of Fame, which happens to be located in another beautiful historic building. The Hall of Fame has various exhibit areas, including the Esso Great Hall, which is referred to as the cathedral to the icons of hockey. One of the treasures on display in the Hall of Fame is the original Stanley Cup. Near the University of Toronto is the eye-catching Royal Ontario Museum. The ROM is both the largest and most visited museum in all of Canada. It's the 5th largest museum in North America. With 40 different galleries and 13 million objects, the museum seems to contain just about everything you could think of, from meteorites and fossils to historical artifacts and Art Deco. Beneath the streets of Toronto is the largest underground shopping complex in the world, known as The Path. It's simply massive, with over 30 kilometers or 18 miles worth of shopping concourses. The Path branches from the financial district into the entertainment district, where it links to the Roy Thomson Hall. The Roy Thomson Hall is one of the architectural icons of the city. Although the concert hall has a very modern look to it, the building is amazingly over 40 years old. It's the home of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. Another major Toronto landmark is the St. Lawrence Market. In 2012, this market was regarded by National Geographic as the best food market on the entire planet. There's been a market there for over 200 years, and today there are over 120 merchants there. Another unique aspect of the city are the Toronto Islands, which comprise of 15 islands just offshore from the downtown area. Most pictures you've seen of the Toronto skyline have likely been taken from these islands, more specifically Toronto Island Park, which is the most unique urban park in the city. The islands are also home to 600 people, an amusement park, 300 homes, and even an airport. It's the largest car-free urban community in all of North America. When looking at the skyline from the islands, after the CN Tower, the next building that catches the eye is the home of the Blue Jays MLB team, the Rogers Centre. Rogers Centre was originally called the Sky Dome and is famous for having the first fully retractable motorized roof. Adjacent to the Rogers Centre is the Roundhouse Park, where there is a preserved locomotive roundhouse surrounding a 120-foot-long operating turntable, which I think is pretty cool. Toronto has one of the most unique city halls that I'm aware of. It's made up of two curved towers that surround a saucer-shaped building which houses the council chamber. In front of the city hall is Canada's largest city square, the Nathan Phillips Square. This plaza features a large reflecting pool and is one of the cultural centers of the city and hosts various festivals throughout the year. And I'll end this video by mentioning that Toronto also has Canada's largest zoo. The Toronto Zoo is home to over 16,000 animals and is considered one of the best zoos in the world. Well, that wraps up my video about Toronto. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and check out some of my other videos about cities. Thanks for watching.